Anyway, the 45-minute mark has passed. Welcome back to Passive Survival. I'm your host, MegaShadowFist, and I, like to jump inside of cold water when my feet are nice and pruny, and I don't even know what I'm going with right now, but whatever the case may be. Anyway, to continue on what I last said, because I got on a really random tangent, but, like, they had, like, random events for the specialty program at my high school, and, mostly it was only, like, the way that it was worked is, like, majority of the people that attended were obviously freshmen because they were scared about like not getting the 100 points that you were quote unquote required to get in order to graduate. And so it's like mostly freshmen and then kind of sophomores and then juniors and then like all that was left were like the really dedicated seniors. Like I only went to like a couple events, you know, whatsoever. I didn't really get enough points. Like I was like the laziest person in the world when it came to my specialty program. But I had to be in the specialty program in order to go to my high school though because the way that it stands, from where I'm from, is there are several different high schools that you could go to. I believe on my side of the county there were 6 or 7. Like there were 12 or 13 high schools in my county, divided into the east and the west. I believe I'm from the east side of the county. Oops, I shouldn't have said that. Because I said what the specialty program is and, you know, where I'm from, you can easily identify that. I'm probably going to censor that so that you don't know, so I don't give away too much information about where I'm from. But whatever the case may be, on my side of the county, like, each high school had, like, its own specialty program, and my base high school I didn't want to go to because, well, I guess I was going to make some more shovels. Because, like, you know, it was notorious for being, like, super ghetto for whatever reason, so, like, I was like, fuck that, I'm not gonna go there, I'm gonna go to the specialty program I'm gonna go to the high school that I went to. And so, like, the specialty program at my high school, excuse me for a second, I'm gonna go get a drink of water. The specialty program at, like, my base high school was, what was it? It was, like, it was something to do with, it's a research program, that's right. Especially a program at the high school that I actually attended. I need to make some more bread, that's probably why I went back, not just to make shovels. Especially a program that, like, I went to my high school was obviously but they also had, a TV production thing as well. And then, like, another high school on my side of the county was, like, and then another high school on my side of the county was the IB program. Which, for those of you who don't know, IB is pretty similar to AP. They're both used for college credit. They're both advanced placement classes. But AP is generally an American thing. Typically, all the tests get graded in Princeton, New Jersey. For which, if you've watched my Reddit series from the very beginning, you'll know that Princeton, New Jersey is where, pretty close to Mercer, which is where I had this terrible, terrible regatta called Mercer Lake Sprint. It was terrible. But anyway, you know, it's typically an American thing. The way that it's set up is if you get a 1, you don't get college credit. 1 is failing. 1 and 2 are failing. 3, you'll get college credit depending on, the high school. 4, more selective high schools will give you college credit, and then 5, every high school will give you credit. I mean, every college will give you credit. And then IB is a bit more international, like, the IB program, like, IB tests, from what I've been told, like, they get, like, graded in, like, Scotland or something like that, which is weird. But whereas AP stands for, like, advanced placement, I'm pretty sure that IB stands for, like, international something. It's like, think of it basically as, like, AP, but for, like, more than just the United States. And then, like, one high school on my side of the county was, like, it had, like, its specialty programs, like, agriculture. But, like, no one really talked about it. In fact, it wasn't until, like, my senior year of high school that I even knew that it had a specialty program. Well, actually, I'm exaggerating. Probably, like, my sophomore year of high school. And that was also notorious for being ghetto. One high school specialty program was, what was it? It was, one was, like, is that all of them? Oh yeah, and then one was for biomedical. Those were all the high schools on my side of the county. On the other side of the county, they were pretty much like the same thing. You know, because like it's pretty interesting, really. I keep saying this because it's like, the way that like my high school is like, or not high school, the way that the county where I'm from is like divided. It's like, I'm from the east side, which is like a bit more suburban. It's closer to Washington D.C., so it's you know, it's a bit more modern and stuff. It's what you would consider like, it's what you would consider a bedroom city, where it's just like people live there and like they sleep there, but majority of the people leave to go to work like outside of they leave to go to work outside of there, so that they could outside of the city they go to like DC or other places in Virginia to work. And then there's the west side of the county, which is essentially like farmland and stuff. You know, typically what I imagine most people picture when they actually like think of Virginia, they think of like, you know, like a southern state. That's typically what the other side of the county is like. And there's a difference in names of high schools. Honestly, like, I'm not gonna like say like the names of the high school because I don't want to give too much information about where I'm from. You can pretty much figure out where I'm from essentially, but whatever the case may be, I'm not gonna say the high school that I went to or anything of that sort. But you know, like, you'll have like the high schools on my side are named after you know, like entrepreneurs that like bought like a lot of land in my side and stuff like that. And then the other side is based off of like, you know, like the American Revolution, the Civil War, and like Confederate generals and stuff. It's pretty funny, actually. To think that like you could just travel like 20 minutes, you could be experiencing like such different parts of life. And that's what I like. That's what I really liked about, you know, like where I'm from. It's like you could. I'm from like what you would consider the suburbs, but if you go to the opposite side of the county, you could like essentially like gather like you know, like what did it like, you know, Southern American living, and then you could go to and then of course I'm not too far from DC, so you know, well, I'm not up anyway, but and then you get to experience, you know, what is it, city life as well. So you know, I guess that's sort of like why that's affected my personality, the way that I am. I can be pretty wishy-washy, you know, like my political views. I consider myself to be pretty. I'm very, very neutral. I don't subscribe to either the two major political parties in the United States, which, if you don't know, are Republicans and Democrats. I don't support either. I'm not participant of either. I took like AP comparative government. So like if you're not from the US, like Republicans would be essentially the same. If you're from like the UK, they'd be essentially the same as like the Conservative Party. And then actually I wouldn't really consider like Democrats to be anything like the Labour Party in the UK, but they'd be something more along the lines of anyway, let's enough political talk. It's almost nighttime. I'm gonna go back to sleep. Is it almost night? Yeah, it's getting close to night. I'm gonna go to my house and then go to sleep. I've gathered enough sand. I don't need to gather any more sand. But whatever the case may be, yeah, and like, you know, like my political views, my views on like everything it's very wishy-washy, because, you know, being exposed to like three very different walks of life, like being like it's hard to explain. And actually, relatively recently, I was like thinking about like where I'd want to like live when I actually like grow up. I mean, like, by grow up, I mean like finish college, or even if like my YouTube channel or whatever like gets large enough that I could like actually like live off of that, or anything, whatever the case may be. So like, I was like thinking like I'd either like return back to like where I'm from essentially, and live there. Because, like, I really like being exposed to, like, all three different varieties of life. But, like, if I were to choose, I'd also go to, like, I was thinking about either, like, Portland, Oregon, or, like, Seattle. And, like, I was thinking about this actually just, like, last night. go to sleep. And, like, I like Portland and Seattle, like, they both interested me, because, like, from what I understand, like, Portland and Seattle are pretty similar, except for Portland's, like, a lot smaller. By Portland, I mean Portland, Oregon. What I liked about them is, like, the weather isn't, like, too bad. It's, like, it doesn't snow a lot there. I'm not a big fan of snow. If you're from an area that doesn't snow a lot, that might sound crazy, but if you're from an area that snows a lot, you'll understand that snow is nice to have every now and then, but, you know, I could go without having, you know, like, several feet of snow. I don't like hot weather, which might not make sense, considering you go to college in Florida, but, you know, if you want to understand why I'm going to college here, I explained that in a past survival video a long time ago. I believe it was titled, like, Long Episode or something like that. Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna do. I was gonna make another double chest so I can have some more storage room for, you know, building supplies. Put this back. Fill it up with whatever I can I'll fill up with, and then, you know, from there. There you go. Then, the second chest will be... Can I access the furnace from here? Yes, I can. What was I saying? And then, oopsies, not my sword. What was I saying? Yeah, because, like, the weather's not too bad. Like, I prefer, like, milder temperature. Like, from what I understand, it doesn't get too hot there. It doesn't get too cold there. There's, like, a lot of, like, public transit. Because, for those of you who don't know, even though I'm 18, I don't drive. That's actually not too uncommon from where I'm from. Like, there are a lot of people that are from where I'm from that actually do have their license, but it's a lot less, but, like, not as many people have cars, because traffic is just so terrible that, like, not many people my age are really, like, that willing to drive, honestly, because it's so annoying. We'd rather just put the work on other people because we're self-centered. That's just how we are. But, yeah, there's a lot of public transportation for both Seattle and Portland, so you could, like, walk a lot. There's a lot... Like, typically I'm very introverted, and I consider myself, you know, I generally spend my time, you know, like, sitting in my room. But, like, I do like to hang out with people, because being introverted and being shy are not the same thing, contrary to popular belief. And I like having the options of, like, being able to do stuff. You know, it's like, I don't generally do a lot of stuff, but, like, if I want to do something, I want to have options. So both Seattle and Portland have, like, a lot of stuff. The biggest difference I can tell is that even Portland is smaller, and a lot of people describe, like, Portland as, like, more, like a college town. Like, auto-saving in 3, 2, 1. Whereas Seattle is larger, and it's typically considered as a lot more mature, and for, like, younger and older people alike. I heard that traffic in Seattle was worse. But the thing is, it's like, I would like to go there. Sure, I was thinking about, like, living there, but it's like, I don't know, there's something about it just makes me seem a little nervous. Because I honestly, like, for those of you who live in, like, smaller countries, like, you know, like, most countries, the United States of America is a very large country. Most of our states are the size of, like, entire countries in Europe, in Africa and stuff, and I don't mean... Or, like, in Asia, and I don't mean to sound like, you know, like, arrogant by saying that. I'm just stating facts. So, while it might seem, like, uncommon, like, it might seem, like, weird for you, like, for some of you guys to be like, what? You've never been to, like, a certain side of your country? Like, that might sound weird to you, but, like, considering how large it is, the farthest west I've ever been, farthest west I've ever been is, New Mexico. I have not been on the actual, like, true blue West Coast. And, you know, normally I'd wrap the episode up and then, you know, like, do my question of the session, but I want to finish my topic and say all that I want to say before I end the session, so I'm just going to, gather some more cacti for whatever reason. Yes, I have something to do while I'm talking. You know, it's like, I don't know, just something about, it's like, I've been pretty much all up and down, like, the East Coast, you know, And I've obviously been to, like, the Midwest, because, for those of you who don't know, even though, I consider myself, like, a Northern Virginian or whatever, it's because that's where I spent all my middle and high school years. That's where I spent the majority of my life growing up. I did actually, spend a few of my other years before, you know, in various other states because my parents are military. So, like, I was born in Georgia, and then I moved to North Carolina where my sister was born, and then, Florida for a little bit, and then Ohio, and then Virginia, and that's where I started middle school. And that's where I went through middle and high school. It's like, technically I don't really have, like, a hometown, actually. But I would consider where I'm from, like, I keep saying where I'm from, like, for Virginia to be my hometown, or the city that I'm from to be my hometown, because, no, that's where I spent the majority of my life growing up. That's neither here nor there. And so I've been to the Midwest. My dad is from Chicago, so I've been to Illinois as well. And since I'm from, I mean, since I've lived in Ohio for a little bit, obviously I've been to the Midwest. I've been to the American Southwest, obviously, so I've been to Colorado, I've been to New Mexico. I've been, you know, all throughout the East Coast, not through the Mid-Atlantic, through the South. And typically when an American, like, if for those of you who don't know, like, if you're from outside the U.S., typically when an American refers to the South, they're referring to, like, the Southeast, you know, like, countries like, you know, Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, stuff like that. Technically, Virginia would be considered the South. And during the Civil War, my state was considered a Confederate state, so I'm not allowed to make any Confederate jokes, even though I would not consider myself Southern whatsoever, or where I'm from to be Southern at all. That's just how it is. I'm technically not allowed to make any Confederate jokes. Whatever the case may be. I've been throughout the East Coast. Like, I haven't been farther than New York, honestly, as far as the East Coast is concerned. But the East Coast and, like, to a lesser extent, the Midwest is, like, all I really know. The West Coast is so unfamiliar to me. Honestly, like, and I've been, like, outside the country too. I've been to Japan. I've been to Canada. I've been to Mexico. I Need to Eat. I've been to South America. I've never been to Europe, Africa, or Australia. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. I've been to, like, and I've been, like, outside the country to, like, a bunch of different places, but I've never been to the West Coast. And so it just seems really scary to me, honestly. It just seems, I don't know, it's like maybe, like, the culture shock. Well, then again, like, you know, having been to several different states, I believe I've calculated that I've been to about 25 different states. I would be able to handle culture shock, but, like, actually, like, living there, I don't know, I feel like I wouldn't be able to handle it. Like, I wouldn't be able to do that unless, like, I went there with, like, my fiance/wife, or maybe, like, a few friends. I don't have a fiance or a wife, in case I made you curious. But, like, in the future, I do plan on having that, so... You know, but, I couldn't go there by myself. I'd have to have someone else to go with me, because, all the way on the other side of the country. And the other thing that really killed me is, like Portland and Seattle, like, they really, especially Portland, they're really interesting. Like, it seemed like they had everything, like, I was, like, really looking for. The problem, though, is that, from what I understand, it's, like, very, very cloudy there. Like, it rains all the time. Like, I'm not anti-rain, but from what I understand, it's like it's rarely ever sunny there. That I feel like that might get to me, because for those of you who don't know, I hate artificial light. I hate it with a burning passion. I hate when people, like, during the daytime, when, like, people turn lights on in the daytime. It's like, you can see just fine. What's the point of turning on a light during the daytime? That's a whole different can of worms. It's just like, when it's rainy, that would encourage me to use artificial light, and I'm not the biggest fan of that. Typically, when it gets dark during the daytime, I have, like, a small desk lamp that I turn on, because, like, I don't like pitch black either, honestly, because, like I said, I can be a little bit superstitious at times. Rather erratic, like, I wouldn't consider myself to be, like, someone who's, like, you know, like, super superstitious or anything like that, but, like, I find myself to be rather irrational. Like, all I'm saying is that when the lights are off, you know, I tend to get a little fidgety for whatever reason. So I guess you could call that a fear of the dark, if you will. I wouldn't really consider... well, here's the thing. It's not like, you know, like, if, like, the lights are off, I'm just gonna, like, have, like, a panic attack or anything like that, but I do get a little shaky for whatever reason. Even as old as I am, some fears you just don't outgrow, unfortunately. But, I turn on, like, a small desk lamp so I can have, like, a little bit of light, but I prefer, like, natural light over artificial light. And if it's, like, super, like, cloudy, that would encourage the use of artificial light, and I feel like that would really drain me. That's the only problem that I have with it, aside from, you know, like, the culture shock. But, you know, like, culture shock's really, that's not really, like, that scary to me, because I could just adjust, and just because you move somewhere, that doesn't mean that you have to live there forever. It's like, even if I moved to, like, Seattle or Portland for whatever reason, it doesn't mean that that doesn't mean that I have to stay there. I could always return back to, you know, Northern Virginia / DC. You know, if I really, really felt the desire to. Well, that's neither here nor there. I'm gonna go to sleep. And get a drink of water. And, do my question of the session and wrap up the episode, because I've been recording for 6 extra long minutes than I planned on, which means I'm probably going to end up... This is probably going to be like 25-minute video or something like that. But anyway, audio. Drop this down to 0%. Now the music should be on. Oh, it should be on now, at least. And now it's time for the question of the session. And this question... If you were to, like, one day wake up and you were, like, in, like, a TV show or movie universe, where would you, what would it be? Because, like, I remember, technically speaking, there's this theory that goes along the lines that, any universe that's possible exists. So, like, any TV show, like, or movie or whatever that you watch, that theoretically exists in a different universe. Like, Minecraft exists in a different universe. It's just a theory. I'm not saying that it's 100% right or 100% wrong. I'm just saying that it's a theory and that it's, you know, it's possible. And at first that made me kind of angry, because, like, I could like, think about this right now. We're in the world where we are right now, and we could be like in Dragon Ball Z, you know, I could be like a Z fighter and stuff. But, you know, I'm trapped in, you know, the world that I am in right now. And at first I was like, oh, that really sucks. I got the shit end of the stick. But then, if any universe technically could exist, that means that in somewhere right now, I am in the Attack on Titan universe, and that would be absolutely fucking terrible. So whatever the case may be, honestly, like, if I were to, like, live and, like, wake up randomly in, like, some different universe, like, for, like, a TV show or whatever, it would either be, fairy tale, like, I'd be like a mage type wizard in fairy tale, and honestly I'd be like either like a water mage, kind of like Juvia, or like a spider. Like, I clear of like made up like my own mage thing, where it's kind of like, think of it kind of like Spider-Man sort of, but like a bit more, but able to do a bit more than just what Spider-Man can do. But whatever the case may be, either that or, let's see, anything else. Oh, like, I also thought about, like, regular show. Like, living in regular show, like, the regular show universe would be freaking awesome. Because, like, just doing normal everyday things could turn into, like, the craziest adventures, which would be amazing. I think that's about it. I think that's about it. So, yeah. Now I'm going to give myself about 3 more seconds for the music to play. And I'm going to raise up the music back to 70% so that we have natural music for the game and not the music that I put in post-edit. And time to wrap up the episode. So, if you like this video, this series of videos, please feel free to leave a like. If you thought it was cool, please feel free to subscribe and join the Elven Brotherhood today. Also, follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/MegaShadowFist. I'll be sure to leave that in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is MegaShadowFist signing out. Bye!